What's up, Tina? Let me know if you can see and hear me. Silent Queen Mommy, hey, how you doing?
Well,
What is up? Now we are about to watch Tucker. That's what's going on. So, please like the stream. We're going to get started in a minute here, but we're going to watch Tucker with Trump. And then I'm going to take the stream down after we get done. So this is probably going to be a gone forever one, and I'll repost it on Rumble and then make some highlights in a video later. So it looks good now? Okay, perfect. All right, so let me close this. Pull Tucker down. We're going to get started on this. I'm not really going to pause it because it'll take too long, but I'll talk over it and around it and whatever. But yes, if you guys could hit that like button, we're risking it all here. We gotta hear. Gotta see what's up.
It's debate night, but we're not in Milwaukee.
What do you guys think of this? Doing the debate.
Mr. President, thanks for joining
Doing
us.
this interview instead of the debates. What's up, Dagnar?
thank you.
Why aren't you at the Fox News debate tonight in Milwaukee?
Well, you know, a lot of people have been asking me that, and many people said you shouldn't do them, but you see the polls have come out, and I'm leading by 50 and 60 points, and you know, some of them are at 1 and 0 and 2, and I'm saying, do I sit there for an hour?
Is
or 2
X
hours,
getting
whatever it's going to be,
annihilated? What's up?
Get harassed by people that shouldn't even be running for president? Should I be doing that? And a network that isn't particularly friendly to me, frankly. You know, they were backing Ron DeSanctimonious like crazy, and now they've given up on him. I mean, it's a lost cause.
Damn.
It reminded me very much of 2016. You know, in 2016, I went through the same stuff and had to fight them all the way, and then they became very friendly after I won, or just about when I was winning. But I just felt it would be more appropriate not to do the debate. I don't think it's right to do it. If you're leading by 50, 60, I have one problem leading by 70 points, and I'm saying, why am I doing it? And I'm going to have 8 people, 10 people, whoever made the debate, I don't know how many it is, but I'm going to have all these people screaming at me, shouting questions at me, all of which I love answering, I love doing, but it doesn't make sense to do them. So I've taken a pass, as you probably noticed.
Well, I did. I'm grateful that you did. It's interesting, though, because you spent a lot of your career in television.
Yeah.
You had a top show in television on NBC. But you don't feel the need now running for president to do television, obviously. Do you think television is declining?
Well, according to a poll
you
that
think?
I guess we just saw, it just came out where it's down like 30, 35%, but I think they were referring to cable. I think cable's down because it's lost credibility. MSNBC, or as they say, MSDNC, is so bad. It's so wrong what they write and what they do and what they say. It's, you know, it's fake news, as I said.
Damn straight.
I think I came up with that term. I hope I did, because it's a good one. It's not tough enough anymore. It's corrupt news. You know, really what you do is call it corrupt news, but somehow that doesn't play as nicely, but it is corrupt news. So you have MSNBC and you have CNN, who's absolutely doing no ratings at all. I mean, they're dead, but they're doing none because they don't have credibility. They really don't have credibility. Fox is way down, as you know, and the good old days are long ago. I will say this, it could come back, but they just don't have a lot of credibility, Tucker. You know that perhaps better than anybody. I think it was a terrible move getting rid of you. You were #1 on television, and all of a sudden you're we're doing this interview, but we'll get bigger ratings using this crazy forum that you're using than probably the debate or competition.
How many million views do you think he's going to get on this
People
video?
on stage who shouldn't be running for president. Who do you mean?
Well, I don't want to really use names, but it wouldn't matter too much. A guy like, I call him Ada Hutchinson. It's Asa, but I call him Ada.
Why do you call him Ada?
I could tell you, but I don't want to get myself in a little trouble.
Yeah, don't
But
get
he's
us all in
weak
trouble,
and
Trump.
pathetic, and he was, I never
Appreciate
understood him.
that.
I never knew him. He was the governor of Arkansas. Not a very popular guy. I don't know how but that state is such a great state. The people are so incredible
Yes.
in that state, and they love me, and I love them. How does this guy get elected governor of Arkansas? But he's nasty always, and has been. A guy like Chris Christie, the guy left with a 8%, think of it, 8% approval rating in New Jersey. Now he's running for president. And he runs solely on the basis, oh, let's get Trump. He's like a savage maniac. He's like a lunatic. And that's all he talks about. His poll numbers are very, very low. He's about 2%.
What's he like? You know him well.
No, I've been friendly with him over the years, but I couldn't give him a job because I just never trusted him very much. I was just never one of his people.
This
that
is an
really
upload,
trusted
so it's
him. I
not
never gave him
live,
a
but we're
job, and
like
that's one of the reasons
10
he
minutes
feels
late
so
from when
hurt
it
and so
started,
betrayed.
roughly.
And I understand that. I really do.
And it's on
understand it, but
X.
I never gave him. He wanted to be different things. He was looking at different elements of the administration, and we decided. I decided just I didn't want to do it. And now I'm glad I did because you see. But we had some great people. I had great people. We'll have even better people if we do this because now I know Washington. Before I didn't know Washington. But guys like Bill Barr were terrible. I mean, they were, I would say, Bushies. I say that with respect to the Bush family, but they were Bushies, and it doesn't work out for us.
It was clear. This is kind of far afield, but
Throw the
it's
whole
interesting.
family
I
under the
read
bus. That's
Barr's
awesome.
account of his time. He wrote a book about it,
Right?
his autobiography, and in it he lies about Jeffrey Epstein's death. Clearly lies. Do you think Epstein killed himself sincerely?
I don't know. I will say
That's
that
the right
he was
answer.
a fixture in Palm Beach.
Yeah.
I don't know what Barr said about it either. I have no idea what he said. What did he say? He killed himself, probably?
He said he
Is that
killed
what-
himself and that they were going to do this investigation. They never did the investigation. It's never been
Yeah,
public.
well, he
and
didn't-
they hid it. And why are they doing that?
He
And
didn't
clearly
do-
Barr
Thank you,
knew.
Barry.
But why would Bill Barr be covering up the death of Jeffrey Epstein?
Bill Barr didn't do an investigation on the election fraud either. Okay? He said he did.
there you
and
go.
He pretended he did, but he didn't. McSwain, the U.S.
They write
attorney in
strongly worded letters.
Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, said Barr just wouldn't let him do it. It was crazy. Barr became so petrified, so frightened of being impeached. They were going to impeach him. I don't know if you remember it.
Yeah.
It's not a big moment in history. But they said, we're going to impeach. They play a much rougher game, the left, the lunatics. And they were going to impeach Bill Barr, and he was petrified. Now, how do you not get impeached? Don't do any of this stuff. But he didn't do the job there. I don't know what he did with Epstein, but possibly he didn't.
Do you think
do
it's
that.
possible that Epstein was killed?
Oh, sure, it's possible. I mean, I don't really believe. I think he probably committed suicide. He had a life with, beautiful homes and beautiful everything, and he all of a sudden he's incarcerated and not doing very well. I would say that he did, but there are those people. There are many people. I think you're one of them, right? But a lot of people think that he was killed. He knew a lot on a lot of people.
He was killed.
You think so?
I think the closer you look.
Tucker's
I'm
not messing around.
At all.
It's like
I
he
believe
went down,
everything
bro.
here.
He got murked.
But yeah, the closer you look into it, I mean, the Attorney General of the United States, your Attorney General, clearly lied about the Epstein death.
Yeah,
And
he was.
Why?
He was certainly. It wasn't well done. They had no cameras. They had no anything. Everybody was sleeping, and a case could be made. Look, I'm not going to get involved in it, but I can tell you a case could be made either way. But it certainly wasn't the most well-run place.
So the reason I'm asking you is I'm looking at the trajectory since 2015 when you got into politics,
Yeah.
for real, and then won. It started with protests against you, massive protests, organized protests by the left, and then it moved to impeachment twice.
Thank you, Susie.
And now indictment.
That is
I mean,
cool.
the next stage is violence. Are you worried that they're going to try and kill you? Why wouldn't they try and kill you, honestly?
They're savage animals. They are people that are sick, really sick. You have great people in the Democrat party. You have great people that are Democrats. Most
Yeah.
of the people in our country are fantastic, and I'm representing everybody. I'm not just Republicans or
Right.
conservative. I represent everybody. I'm the president of everybody. But I've seen what they do. I've seen the lengths that they go to. When they make up the Russia, when that's exposed and they go down, and Barr should have gone after them, and other people should have gone after, and they did very late. Because
Thank you,
the Grove
Susie.
report
Appreciate
came
that.
out. It was fairly good. It could have been a lot tougher, I guess, but it was fairly good. But it explained how corrupt it was. I'll tell you who did a great job was the Inspector General Horowitz. He did a phenomenal report. You didn't have to go to do it. He did it on Comey and on, I guess, McCabe and some others, and it was a vicious, it was basically a true report, how bad they are. But these people are sick people. These are people that
Can you still hear me too?
I think they hate our country. You want to know the truth. When you see open borders, when you see these policies that they have, and so many other things, it's so sad to see. You know, we have a country that's very fragile right now. I've never seen, I will say, look, I ran in 16, which was 15, but I ran in 16, election in 16, and there was tremendous spirit. In 20, there was even more spirit. We got millions and millions more votes. You know, it wasn't even a contest. People said, well, what'd you think of 20? I said, we did much better. We did. You got to base it on the number of votes. We got many more votes in 20 than we did in 16. But the election was rigged. It was a rigged election. And with COVID, they used COVID to cheat in a lot of different things, and we have so much on it. It's like so easy. But we had judges that didn't want to look. We had people didn't want to get involved. They called you, he's a conspiracy theorist if you say anything about the election. But I have never seen spirit like there is right now. Even coming down here, just the people on the road that are just absolutely going crazy. And the reason is, I think they like me, and I know they love my policies. I hope they like me too. You know, a lot of people say they don't like me, but they like my policies. I think they like me. But I have never seen spirit like it is right now. And the reason is because crooked Joe Biden is so bad. He's the worst president in the history of our country. I don't think he's going to make it to the gate, but, you know, you never know.
How could he even?
But he's a corrupt person, so corrupt that I took the name off Hillary. You know, I don't do two people at one time. I took the crooked Hillary and I retired the name. That was a good day for her. I bet she was very happy. And I used it for Joe because it's crooked Joe. But Joe is really...
But you don't think he's going to make it to November of 24?
Well, I think he's worse mentally than he is physically. And physically, he's not exactly a triathlete or any kind of an athlete. You look at him, he can't walk to the helicopter. He walks, he can't lift his feet out of the grass. You know, it's only 2 inches at the White House, right? That's not a lot. But you watch him, and it looks like he's walking on toothpicks.
Oh, my gosh.
And then you see him on the beach where he can't lift a chair. You know, those chairs are meant to be light, right? They're like 2 ounces.
Right.
You lift them up. He can't lift the chair. He can't walk to the chair. And I don't know what they're doing with the beach. You know, this beach is seeming to play a big role, but they love pictures of him on the beach. I think he looks terrible on the beach. He looks terrible on the beach.
Skinny legs.
Well, he can't walk through the sand. You know, sand is not that easy to walk through, but when he walks through it, he can't walk through the sand. And there's somebody in there that thinks he looks fabulous at the beach. I think he looks horrible at the beach. Plus, the beach doesn't represent what a president's supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be working.
That's true.
You're supposed to be getting us out of that horrible, horrible war that we're very much involved in with Russia and Ukraine. You could do that. You could do that very easily. I believe you could do that I don't believe he could do it because he's just incompetent. But that's a war that should end immediately, not because of one side or the other, because hundreds of thousands of people are being killed. Can you imagine you're in an apartment house and rockets are going into that building and blowing it up and knocking it down? And who can, why should anybody, human beings, these are human, whether they're Russian or Ukrainian or whatever they are, it's got to be stopped. And it can be stopped very easily. It would have never started. If I were president, it would have never started.
So back to Biden, I'm interested. So you think he's failing? He obviously is failing. I think it's clear to everybody. But that would make Kamala Harris the candidate?
Well, not really. I mean, I guess they'd have maybe a free-for-all. A lot of people say she has to remain for certain reasons the candidate. She has to. I don't think that's true, actually. I don't think that other people would stand for it. She has some bad moments. Her moments are almost as bad as his. I think his are worse, actually.
Yeah.
But
She seems pretty senile too.
she speaks in rhyme. You know, it's weird. It's
Yo,
weird.
Dagnar.
But she has bad
Every day
moments,
he's
and-
shuffling.
Rhyme? What do you?
Well, the way she talks, the bus will go here, and then the bus will go there, because that's
Yeah,
what buses
Stephanie, I
do.
did hear what he said.
It's weird. The whole thing is weird. This is not
the
a
kitchen
president
fire
of
and
the
it being
United
hot.
States future. And I think they probably have some kind of a primary, and other people will get involved.
Newsom, right? I mean,
Could be. I mean, you know, I always got along well with him, believe it or not. But could
That's
be him, could
surprising.
be somebody else. He's got a big load on his shoulders, because you look at California, what's happened. But I don't know if the American people really, the people that vote for him, I don't even know if they care. You know, you look at so many of the things that are going on, and people don't seem to be. In the old days, if you had a bad record, it meant a lot. Today, if you have a bad record, it doesn't really mean anything. You know, he looks good, he's a nice-looking guy, speaks well. But Biden, every time you watch him talking, it's like he's walking on eggs. You're waiting for him to collapse. And he almost always does. And I got to know the leaders of all of the countries, essentially, but the big ones. And the bigger, the tougher the leader. You know, it's like sort of, I guess maybe that's the way it's supposed to be. But I got to know President Xi of China and Putin and Kim Jong-un, North Korea. Did a great job with North Korea, kept us out of a nuclear war. We would have 40,000 dead soldiers right now. They'd drop a nuke right on top of the military base. But we have 40,000 soldiers over there. And I did great. I got along with him great. That's a positive. You know, the press said, he said nice things about Kim Jong-un. I also said horrible things at the beginning. Horrible enough that he wanted to talk. And we talked, and we met in Singapore. We met actually twice. And we had unbelievable meetings. I know him very well. We were in great shape with him.
What do you think he and Xi and Putin think of Biden?
I think they can't believe it. I think they probably say this is some kind of a system. You know, they had great respect for our country. They respected me. They had great respect for our country when I was there. Every one of them. Look, if you go to North Korea, you take a look at what happened. You know, the Olympics was dead. South Korea spent billions on the Olympics. Nobody was going to go. They didn't want to get blown up. They called me and they said, we are going to let the Olympics proceed. This is North Korea. I said, you should go into the Olympics. Put your athletes in. It wasn't like, you know, they were big on athletes because, you know.
Famine.
But they went in, and they actually participated. And within about 2 days, the entire thing was sold
Stephanie,
out.
it was disgusting.
And if it wasn't me, that would have never happened. But I got along very well with him, and that's a positive thing. He does have massive nuclear power, by the way. And if Hillary would have gotten in, or if the Obama thought process continued,
What's up, Glenn?
it would have been a
Welcome to
nuclear
the
war,
party.
absolutely, with North Korea. He was expecting to go into a war, and it would have been a nuclear war.
So do you think the rest of the world looks on at Biden and thinks someone else has got to be running the government?
Well, somebody else has to be. I don't think he's capable of doing anything. Look, when I debated him, I said, how come, and this was in front of probably not a friend of yours, Chris Wallace. He was the moderator.
Not a friend.
I said, why is it he wants to be Mike, but he doesn't have the talent? It's one of those
Bitchy little man.
He wanted to be his father, but he didn't have the talent of his father was great.
He's a little fussy man.
His father interviewed me in 60 Minutes. It was actually a 10. Can you believe it?
No, I totally believe his
have got-
father had talent, at least.
I may have been the only guy that he gave a good 60 Minutes to. He was rough.
Really?
His father was tough. He was great, though. He was great at what he did. But Chris Wallace was so upset. He was guarding this guy who wouldn't do a show, by the way. You know, he wouldn't do. I figured I didn't mind Chris Wallace because Biden wouldn't do a show. And it was very obvious. You know, he kept asking him and asking, but he wouldn't do the show. So I figured he's got to like me. But he came from a different planet. But remember when I asked the question, why is it that the mayor of Moscow's wife is allowed to give you $3.5 million? Don't forget, that was brought up. Now it's brought up all the time, but that was brought up by me long before anyone ever heard of it. I said, the mayor of Moscow's wife giving you $3.5 million. What did you do to deserve $3.5 million? To Biden. And Chris Wallace said, this has nothing to do with the debate. I mean, he
got in the way of the
bullshit
question.
debate.
No, it was crazy. And I said,
ran
well, wait a minute, he
interference
got
for
$3.5
Biden the
million
whole
for the mayor of
time.
Moscow's wife.
It's gross.
Now, people forget that, but if you go back and take a look, you will see. And Chris Wallace didn't want me to ask that question. I said, I think it's a very appropriate question. It turned out to be much more appropriate than people thought.
Amazing. So do you have a preference in, assuming you're the Republican nominee and all goes as you plan it to go? Do you have
it's
a
not even
preference in who you
close
run
how many
against?
people are good in this instead of
In
the
many ways,
debate.
I'd love to run against him because his record's so bad. You know, it's still horrible when you look at inflation and everything else, but others also have very bad records. I mean,
I'm
California's
just
a bad
looking
record,
through
so, you know,
Twitter, and
should
it's
it be
like
Gavin
people
or should it be
crapping all
somebody
over the
else?
people in the
When I look
debate,
at San Francisco,
and then
what's
talking about
happened to
stuff
that
Trump's saying.
incredible city.
Very
That was
funny.
one of the greatest cities in the world just a short while ago, and now it's very sad when you look at it. Los Angeles, every city practically, all the Democrat-run cities. You know, Republican-run cities are doing very nicely because they arrest people when you have crimes, and they don't go after political candidates because they think it's good. You know, I mean, it's like been amazing. My poll numbers are the highest I've ever had, but because people understand it. You know,
Can I just ask you, that
Yes.
gets back to my original question. So if the protest didn't work, you got elected anyway. Impeachment didn't work twice, obviously. Indictment is not working. Your poll numbers go up. When they raided Mar-a-Lago in August of last year, your numbers went up. They can indict you 20 times, and you're not gonna lose the Republican primary because of that.
Well,
So,
it
like,
makes it look even more ridiculous. I mean, the 4 indictments, and maybe there'll be more. I don't know. These people are crazy.
But they're counterproductive. So if you chart it out, it's an escalation, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So what's next after, try to put you in prison for the rest of your life? That's not working. So, like, don't they have to kill you now?
I think the people of our country don't get enough credit for how smart they are. And I'm not sure I would have said this 10 years ago, but they get it. You know, they really get it. When somebody gets indicted, your poll numbers go down. When somebody gets indicted, you announce, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be leaving to spend time with my family and to fight for the rest of my life on this stuff. But you're out of politics. I got indicted 4 times. All trivia, nonsense, bullshit. It's all bullshit. It's horrible when you look and you look at what they're doing. The boxes hoax, I'm covered by the Presidential Records Act. I'm allowed to do exactly that. He's not
nothing
covered,
wrong.
and he's got 25 times the number of boxes. And he's got them stored in Chinatown. He's got them stored in a flimsy garage underneath his Corvette. At
Dude,
Penn,
Cat
and by the
Turd
way, at Penn he gets millions of
said
dollars. China pays
73
this guy
million
millions
views
of
in
dollars.
33 minutes.
See, I think he's the most corrupt president we've ever had. And he also has the distinction of being the most incompetent. And I believe both. I mean, he's both incompetent and corrupt.
So
and
who
I
is running the
actually
government?
believe he's compromised because China knows so much about him. They know where the money comes from. They know where it is, who paid it, and they probably paid it. Well, they do pay Penn, and he gets $1 million. I think he takes $999,000 because, keeps it a little bit under $1 million, like by $1. But he, in many ways, is a Manchurian candidate. We have a Manchurian candidate, and he's afraid to tell Russia to get out of Cuba. He's afraid to tell China to get out of Cuba. He's afraid. China now is building, think of this, China is building military installations in Cuba. The Cuban population of Miami is not too happy because they're never going to be able to go back. And you don't even hear about it. And the worst culprit is the press, the media, because normally, when I first heard that China is building installations in Cuba, and installations means military installations, okay, they said just some communication. They did that on the islands with Japan. They took the island, they started this massive construction, and they told everybody, including the Japanese have to be very careful. They told everybody that this is a housing development. They're going to build a housing development. And I said, how come the runway is 20,000 feet long? Private jets need 4,000 feet. They don't need 20,000 feet. The big ones need 20,000 feet. They don't even need 20. And I looked at the runway. I said, that's the largest runway ever built, both in width and length, for housing development. There's nobody that has a plane that big that you would have a runway that's
Why is
for
China
testing.
allowed to conduct imperialism in our hemisphere?
Well, yeah, and it's far beyond Cuba. It's all over South America.
Yeah, in the Caribbean.
So we
definitely
built
a
a thing
concern,
called the Panama
Scott.
Canal. We lost 35,000 people to the mosquito, malaria.
Yeah.
We lost 35,000 people building. We lost 35,000 people because of the mosquito. Vicious. They had to build under nets. It was one of the true great wonders of the world. As he said, one of the 9 wonders of the world. No, it was one of the 7. It happened a little while ago, you know. It says 9 wonders of the world. You could make 9 wonders. He would have been better off if he stuck with the 9 and just said, yeah, I think it's 9. But this is one of the true 7 wonders of the world. And you take a look at the Panama Canal. It was such an incredible engineering marvel. We sold it under Jimmy Carter. We sold it to Panama for $1. The following day, they quadrupled the amount of money that ships had to pay to get across. They didn't lose one ship. And now they've made it much bigger, and now they've widened it. They've doubled it, right? They've more than doubled it. And it's one of the most profitable things. Any time it's just incredible, right? We gave it away for $1. China now controls it. They actually control the Panama Canal. They run it, they control it. And we shouldn't let that happen. And we can't let China be in Cuba. And they'll get out. If I'm president, they'll get out.
There's so much
'Cause I had a
weirdness
very
with the
good
mosquitoes.
relationship with President Xi, but he respected this country. He respected me.
People getting bit and then they can't
And
eat
he'll get
red
out.
meat anymore. What the hell is
And
that all
we can't
about?
let them run the Panama Canal. We built the Panama Canal. Should have never been given to Panama. We should have had it. But we gave it for $1. Think of it. They quadrupled. In one day, they lifted the fees, which are, you know, pretty big, for these massive ships to go through, right? Rather than going around the Cape and to all the tremendous storms, such beauty, such, you know, when you, it's beautiful stuff. But you didn't want to get caught in those storms. Those were storms that wiped out the biggest ships. And we go through the Panama Canal, we built it, and we gave it away for $1. Think of that, how stupid are we? We have done the stupidest things in this country. And now we have a president that can't put 2 sentences together, can't speak, can't walk, can't talk. I don't think he gets to the starting gate, but these people do miracles. I mean, he ran out of his basement, and you got away with that one because of COVID, so he sort of got away with it. They cheated on the election. But you have people that are very smart, but they're fascists, and they're radical left lunatics, and they're destroying our country with the all-electric cars and the windmills all over the place, which, by the way, don't work. And
If they took out
most
Trump,
of
it
them
would be
made
very
in China.
bad.
For the most part, they're made in China. Germany a little bit, but China. But you look at what's happening to our country, even no voter ID. I mean, why don't they want voter ID? There's only one reason they don't want voter ID, because they want to cheat. I mean, who doesn't want, you know, the Democrat convention, the last one, they had voter ID that was this big. It looked like a prison card, this big on their chest. You walked in, they had your picture, your this, your fingerprint. They had everything. The most incredible voter ID I've ever seen. That was to get into the Democrat National Convention. But to get into vote, if you buy groceries, if you buy practically anything now, you have ID on a card, credit cards or otherwise. And
But that, don't you think it's racist to have to show your ID?
well, they probably say that. They use anything not to show ID, because voter ID is pretty simple. And we could go back, and we should go back to all paper
Glenn, I
ballots.
see that. The
Voter
control
ID,
is
same-day
massive.
voting. You know, France did it. France had mail-in ballots, and it was terrible. Anytime you have mail-in ballots, you're going to have massive cheating on your elections. Anytime, but not just the presidential election. Anytime you have...
Isn't that the whole point of them? So
Yeah.
you can
Oh,
cheat?
yeah, sure. It's their whole point. That's their whole point. They want to cheat. Yeah. They have to cheat because their policies are so bad that if they didn't cheat, they couldn't get elected. Who
Yeah,
wants open borders?
anyone paying
Who wants
attention
high
wouldn't
taxes?
vote
Who
for
wants
them
high
anyway.
interest rates?
It's true.
Who wants to not be able to use a gas stove or have to drive an electric car, which, you know, you have a 4-hour drive, but the car only goes an hour and a half, so you have to charge it. The happiest moment for somebody in an electric car is the first 10 minutes. In other words, you get it charged, and now for 10 minutes. The unhappiest part is the next hour, because you're petrified that you're not going to be found another charger. People, I'm saying, if people, I'm not knocking electric cars, they're fine. They're fine. But if people want to buy a gasoline car or a hybrid, hybrids are pretty good, actually, but they should be allowed to buy. They don't want to do any of this. So right now, California's in a big brownout because their grid is a disaster. The grid all over the country
I know
is sort of
people
a
that live over
disaster,
there.
But the grid in California.
The
And yet,
brownouts
they want to
happen.
have it in a very short period of time. Millions and millions of cars going off that grid, essentially. It doesn't work.
So plug your car into a grid that's failing.
You should be able to buy an electric car. You know, electric cars could be fine if you drive
Sounds
short
good, Scott.
distances and you want to have, you know, whatever, and you have plug-ins everywhere you go. They could be fine. But you got to have gasoline cars. You got to have everything. Let people buy everything. Now there's the new thing is your heating systems in the house. They don't want you to have a modern day heating system. They want you to use a heating system that will cost you at least $10,000 to buy and won't work very well. You know, none of the stuff works as well. One of the things I did with EPA is you have states, many states, most of the states have so much water. You know, it comes out of heaven, right? The water pours down and you have it. It's there. It's got to go wherever it goes, into the oceans, whatever. It's not like a big problem. Now, in some states, they have a problem. You know, you have some desert areas and all, and for that, it's okay. But they have sinks where no water comes out. You turn it on, no water comes out. No water comes out of the shower. No water is allowed to go into the washing machine for your dishes or for your clothing or what.
Yeah, government rationing is
avoided
bad.
all of that.
Pretty much
Wait,
always.
they have sinks where no water comes out?
Sure, you have restrictors. When I say no water, very little water. You want to wash your hands, right?
Yeah.
And you've seen this, and you turn on the sink and it's very little. Or you want to wash your beautiful hair, right? And you're standing under a shower. Then the suds never go. The water comes out very slowly. I'm sure you've seen this. It usually takes place in new hotels and new homes.
Yeah, you take a drill and take the
They have
limiter out.
well, you can, but now they make it so you can't do that so easily. They have a restrictor. It's called a restrictor, and it restricts the water from coming out. So I ended all of that, and you have to see these. They let the water come out. You know what people do? They wash their hands like 5 times longer, or in the washing machine they'll press for their, let's say the dishwasher. They'll press it, then they'll press it about 7 or 8 times.
Yeah.
They'll end up using more water, and it still won't be very good. I met with the head of Whirlpool. They were practically going out of business during my administration, and they said to me, from Ohio, incredible, great state, I love Ohio, and they were really doing badly because people were dumping washing machines all over, mostly from South Korea, but also from China. And he was explaining it's just a terrible situation. I said, let me ask you, how's the quality? He says, we're better, but they are good enough quality. But, you know, of course he's going to say that, but, you know, they are better. He said, but they don't.
So I just
they don't
think he
allow
wants to
us.
let
They're
him talk
dumping
without
these machines.
interrupting
They're
him
cutting
like
us
he
in
usually
half.
gets.
They're killing us, and on top of it, the government won't let us use water in our machines. I mean, he shows me like a quarter of a
This
bottle
is
of
the
water.
exact opposite of what he
That's
would deal
supposed
with
to
in
be
the
washing
debate.
clothing.
The debate, he'd be
And I
talked
freed
over,
it all up, and I
interrupted
put
nonstop.
tariffs on these countries that were selling and the machines coming into the country. And that company went from all the washing machine companies, they make washing machines, they make dryers, they make all of the different machines that do this kind of work, including dishwashers. And they went from a disaster area to being just thriving.
But can I ask
They
why-
love me in that part of Ohio.
Well, I bet they do, but why should EPA, no one at EPA was elected by anybody,
Yeah.
why do they have the power to decide how much water your washing machine uses? Shouldn't Congress in a democracy get to vote on that?
Yeah, you could say that. They do things that are not very...
So how do you, that's my question, how do you, if you get elected again, go back to Washington, how do you keep the agencies under control? How do you keep FBI and CIA specifically under control?
The way you do it, like I fired Comey,
There's that
was a
question.
big deal. You know, a lot of people said, and I fired him very early. Somebody said, oh, I wish you would have fired him. There was a real question about firing him. Anyway, you understand, because, you know, when they have a 10-year term, there
Nicole,
is
I'm
a
good,
question.
thank you.
I fired Comey. That was a great thing. If I didn't fire Comey, maybe I wouldn't be talking to you, or I'd be talking to you about real estate or something else other than politics, right? That was a coup, in my opinion. That was a very sick deal. That was the insurance policy. You remember the insurance policy? Oh, she's going to win, darling. She's going to win. But just in case she doesn't, we have an insurance policy. An insurance policy was what they were doing. And we caught them with that. That was a very important tweet or whatever it was, text. It was a big deal. That was a big deal. The insurance policy. She's going to win 100 million to 1. Now, that's not good odds. At least they gave me 1, right? 100 million to 1. But just in case she doesn't win, we have an insurance policy. And everybody said, that's strange. That's strange. But we caught all that because I fired Comey. Because when I fired Comey, it was like throwing a rock into a hornet's nest, into a nest of bees, and the place went crazy.
So when you were president, are you confident that you knew everything, say, CIA was doing around the
No,
world?
I'm not. It's a very interesting group of people. I had very good relationships, I thought. But
What's up, Rob?
I was a little surprised.
KTO, how you doing?
When I got out, that things go on. Look, it's.
What were you surprised by?
I was surprised. I think at some of the people. I was surprised that there was. I had a group of people.
Make sure everyone that pops
We
in likes the
killed
stream.
many
We want to
using the
get this
CIA,
out
I have to
to as
say
many
this.
people as possible.
Very bad
No one's really
actors.
sharing this.
We were very good at it. You look at Soleimani, you look at al-Baghdadi, bigger than Osama bin Laden. I mean, Osama bin Laden, but al-Baghdadi did ISIS, and he was rebuilding ISIS very strongly.
And that was the CIA
like,
that did that.
That was really us that did that.
Yeah.
That was really us that did that. And Soleimani was us that did that, not so much CIA. But we did some very good work with the CIA. What I started, when I looked at the 51 intelligence agents,
Yeah, Vivek's saying a lot of good
saying
stuff.
that was the laptop.
I'm hoping
from
he's
hell
holding
was
it down in the
Russian
GOP debate.
disinformation. When I took a look at that, I said, that's a horrible thing. They knew it wasn't. They knew it was not. And by the way, you're talking about cheating on the election? McLaughlin and Fabrizio, great pollsters, they said a thing like that plus other things meant anywhere from 10 to 17% of the vote would change.
Whatever happened to Mike Pence? You've always been nice to Pence. I've never heard you criticize Pence. You've defended him in public many, many times. He's out there attacking you. What is that?
So Mike wants to run for president. You got to understand, in my opinion, Mike Pence had the absolute right to send the votes back to the legislatures. The Democrats and everybody said, you don't have the right. In other words, what I said, is he a human conveyor belt? You mean if he finds fraud in Pennsylvania, in Georgia, in any of these states, Arizona, he has to send them to Mitch McConnell, right? That's right, sir. Well, if he finds fraud, he has to? Yes, sir. I said, so he's a conveyor belt. Boom, put him in. I said, I don't agree with that. And we had some lawyers, not all, we had some lawyers that said, no, you do have the right to send them back to the legislatures to be rechecked. Because if you looked at what went on in Wisconsin, who, by the way, now agree with me, Wisconsin has been virtually, other than the fact they're not allowed to do anything statutorily, but Wisconsin has been, I mean, what they found is incredible. I mean, we won Wisconsin. But Mike Pence had the right, in my opinion, to send them back.
Do you ever talk to him now?
No, I haven't spoken to him in a long time. I was very disappointed in him. I didn't want to do what Thomas Jefferson did. Thomas Jefferson, it was Georgia, and it was hear ye, hear ye, the great state of Georgia is not capable or allowed to tabulate their votes. And Thomas Jefferson, who was the vice president, said, is Georgia sure that they cannot tabulate their votes? Georgia is sure. He didn't send them back and have them redo it. He said, we will keep the votes of the great state of Georgia for Thomas Jefferson and his president. I didn't ask him for that. Could have done that too, but I didn't. I thought that would be turmoil. I asked him to send them back to his legislature, to the legislatures, in Wisconsin, let's say.
But why didn't he? I mean, you'd worked together for 4 years. You're the president. He's VP. You say you're aligned on everything.
I think he got very bad advice. I really do. Now, let me tell you what happened. I sat there with a few people. I think his lawyer was in the room too. His lawyer was very much against it. There were other lawyers that felt you could do it. It was one of those things. I think you could have done it. I think you can always do something if you see fraud or if you see problems.
Jason, you're welcome.
But it's very interesting. So after the election was over, the rhinos got together with the Democrats, and they redid the election, so you couldn't do it anymore. So then I called the people. I said, so in other words, you're saying I was right. You could do it. Yes, you could do it.
Yep, that
In
happened.
other words, they took the Voting Act and they redid it so the vice president no longer has the power to do what I said he could do. So when that happened, I said, wow. And you'd look some of these Democrats in the eye.
He's not
and they
wrong
say,
at all.
He has absolutely no right to do it.
But then they had
And
to come make
immediately
a
after
new
the
rule that
election,
said that.
They met rhinos, could name them all, and Democrats, and they approved legislation that takes away the right of the vice president to do it. So I said, so you're saying I was right. The vice president did have the right to do it, and they said, yes, he did.
So if you're saying they stole it from you last time, why wouldn't they do the same this time?
Oh, well, they'll try. They're going to be trying, yeah. And not only me, Look,
We got 70 watching. Just make sure everyone
DeSantis
likes
is out.
it.
I think he's gonzo. He was at a level. People have figured him out. He's gone. But if somebody else got in, other than me, they'll go at him just as viciously as they did me. These people are sick. They will go after them. And a lot of people say they won't be able to hold up. I do get credit for holding up quite well, I must tell you. I think it's...
How do you do that? How do you get indicted, every week and stay cheerful?
It's... I think it's a lot easier because I'm so high in the polls. Because
Dana
it means
Lynn
the people
on my
get it.
page, there's links.
The people see
There's like
it's a fraud. The
5
people see
different
it.
ways.
Like this horrible district attorney from just a little while ago.
But thank
from
you so much.
essentially Atlanta.
Appreciate that.
It's Fulton County. She said, basically, I don't have any right to challenge an election. Well, what about Stacey Abrams? What about Hillary Clinton? What about all of these Democrats that are still challenging my election? The same people that are saying he's challenging an election challenged my election. And they did it with slates. They did it with all sorts of things. They were very bad about it. But basically, they're suing me, and they're saying, you don't have any right to challenge it. If you challenge an election, we're going to indict you and put you in jail. So what they're doing is they've weaponized, and don't kid yourself, the DOJ and Biden and the whole group, they're watching all of this stuff. They love the local stuff. The DA in Manhattan.
Yeah, Dana, I have Buy Me a Coffee,
put
Patreon, Locals,
one of the DOJ top
Streamlabs,
people
Donos
into
through PayPal.
the Manhattan DA's
None of those
office
pay YouTube.
to run things. They don't even have a case against me. It's not even a case. Everyone says, even the Democrats say, you can't bring these cases. You have no case. The Attorney General or the District Attorney, Fannie Willis, in Atlanta, she's getting killed. Basically, she's saying Trump doesn't have the right to criticize an election. But you've been around long enough now. You've seen many elections criticized. I mean, Hillary Clinton goes crazy. Every time she talks, she says, he's not the president. Jimmy Carter said, he's not the president. Well, I am the president. Hillary Clinton called me, by the way, at 3:02 in the morning.
You're not subscribed.
To congratulate me the night of the election.
Did her voice crack?
Well, her voice was, it's very different, I will say. I won't get into that. But
What do you mean?
her voice was very different. Don't forget, they were all celebrating at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And I came home and I said, I think we won. I felt we won because the rallies are so big. We'd go to Wisconsin and we'd go to Georgia. We'd go to different states. In Michigan, we'd have rallies. In Pennsylvania, we had 58,000 people in Butler. And I said, how are we losing this? How do you have a rally where you have from 50 to 100,000 people, many of them? I did 7 a day for a couple of days. That's a lot. That's a lot. These are big rallies, too. And I didn't hold back. I didn't say, let's make them let's do abbreviations, right? But they challenged this stuff. Yeah. Hillary called me up and conceded. Now, the word is that Obama said you have to do that. But she called up and totally conceded. But now, every time you see her on television, she's saying, she's challenging the election.
Do you think...
So that would mean that she should be indicted, but that would mean also that Stacey Abrams in Georgia should be indicted because she still thinks she won the election for governor. She still thinks that. She's never recanted. And
Do you think Stacey Abrams will be indicted for that?
No, of course not. She won't be. The Democrats don't get indicted for things like that. They don't get impeached. No, it's a different thing. With that being said,
yes,
I had great support when they did impeachment hoax #1 and impeachment hoax #2. Jim Jordan, the House was fantastic. And actually the Senate was very good for me, other than, Mitch McConnell. I think it's too bad I endorsed him. He was begging, he was going to lose that race, and I endorsed him, and he ended up winning the race because of my endorsement. He was down, he was going to lose to Amy McGrath. She was $90 million in cash, all set to go. She was leading by 3. He was going down. I did him a favor, and then 3-4 months later, he really wanted to impeach me. He's a bad guy. But if you look at what's going on politically, it's so interesting. The level of loyalty is different in politics than it is in normal life, I will say. With that being said, I've had great loyalty also. But the House was fantastic. The Senate was very good. They overrode Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell, in my opinion, was trying to get senators to impeach me, especially for the second one. And on the first one, he acted very, very slow. He should have gone much faster. But Mitch McConnell wanted to, and the senators went up to him, guys that are subservient to him because he gives money. You know, he gives them money. He gives them a lot of money. He raises some money and he gives it to them, and therefore they do what he said. That's the only form of leadership he's got.
So last question, if you're elected president again, what's your number one priority? When you ran last time, you said, I will build a wall. This time, your bottom line top promise to the country.
So you can do numerous things at the same time.
Of course.
But let's say number one is a border and taking hundreds of thousands of criminals that have been allowed into our country and getting them out and bringing them back to their country, Guatemala.
Please do it.
By the way,
Yes.
not only the 4 countries that we think of as neighbors, all over the world. Last month, we had 149 countries represented. Think of it. We had 149 countries represented, Tucker, from places that many people never even heard of, coming into our country. And they're coming in from mental institutions, and they're coming in from prisons. They're emptying out their prisons all over South America. They're emptying out their mental institutions. Terrorists are pouring into our country. We have no idea. I had the strongest border in the history of our country, and I built almost 500 miles of wall. You know, they like to say, oh, was it less? No. I built 500 miles. In fact, if you check with the authorities on the border, we built almost 500 miles of wall, and I had another 200 that I was going to build. You know, it's like water. It seeks. And we're going to build another 200. We built it. It was all set to go. All they had to do was install it. It would have taken 3 weeks. And that's when I found out. I said, I think these people actually want open borders. The first thing I would do would be I would seal up the border good and tight, except for people that want to come in legally.
Do you think we're moving towards civil war?
There's tremendous passion and there's tremendous love. You know, January 6th was a very interesting day because they don't report it properly. I believe it was the largest crowd I've ever spoken before. And you know some of the crowds I've spoken before. And like July 4th on the mall, I think they had 1 million people there. But I think that the biggest crowd I've ever spoken before was on January 6th. And people that were in that crowd, a very, very small group of people, and we said patriotically and peacefully and patriotically, right? Nobody ever says that. Go peacefully and patriotically.
He specifically said it.
People that were in that crowd that day, very small group of people, went down there, and then there are a lot of scenarios that we can talk about. But people in that crowd said it was the most beautiful day they've ever experienced. There was love in that crowd. There was love and unity. I have never seen such spirit and such passion and such love. And I've also never seen simultaneously and from the same people such hatred of what they've done to our country.
So do you think it's possible that there's open conflict? We seem to be moving towards something.
I don't know, because I don't know what it, you know, I can say this. There's a level of passion that I've never seen. There's a level of hatred that I've never seen, and that's probably a bad combination.
Donald Trump, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Very much.
Thank you.
That is a bad combination, by the way.
Bad combination. Thank you.
Okay. Well, that was epic. Now, don't go anywhere because we have a new Oliver Anthony song that is blowing up. I don't know what the deal is, but the guy is just a magnet for this kind of content. The really reaction videos, discussion panels, all this stuff is going on. I mean, there are big, super long videos dedicated to breaking down what's going on with his song, the political aspect, the non-political aspect, the fake kind of left-wing outrage that's coming after him. So it's very interesting. But he's got a new song, and I've seen, it's just like all these people all over. It's all I see everywhere is the new song. And I'm like, really? Okay. A couple days ago, it was all just the first song. So I think it's kind of cool that he has at least enough apparent range that he was able to be found with this song and then immediately come back with something interesting enough that it's kind of taking off. So that in itself is pretty cool. So what do you guys think of the Twitter X interview with Donald Trump. I thought it was pretty cool. I like that he got to talk. There's probably a lot of things he said there that other people had never heard before from what he had done in his time as president. And when they do those debates, it's just the other candidates, like Chris Christie's of the world, crapping all over him, and then the moderators running cover for them. So it's not constructive. It's not worth it for him. I don't know why anyone would think that he should have been there instead of doing his own thing and stealing the spotlight the way he did. I think that's the move. That's why he should have did it. Glenn says, awesome one. Need more like this. Let's see. Who is this? Mental gymnastics. Glenn's getting coffee. No worries. But yeah, that was free on Twitter X. So if you get a Twitter account, follow me, and you can just watch that full thing for anyone who's late in here. There's no cost or anything like that. Kimmy says, I like he got to talk too without constant interruptions. He's a great debater though, but he had no reason to. Yeah, that's it. Scott, you said, wish he answered the questions and he knows the country is headed for something, LOL. Well, there's knowing and there's knowing. And the way he answers that can be, let's just say that people pounce on his words. So it's very important that he says things the right way. It is what it is. Rob, you said, I think I already follow you on Twitter, Jeff. Okay. Hey, appreciate that. So they stole from him. Why not steal the spotlight? Yeah. And then following up with Tucker just to extra give it to them is pretty awesome. I thought that was funny. Because obviously Fox screwed over Tucker, so we got that problem too. All right, so I'm looking up this new song. And the new one is Oliver Anthony, I Want to Go Home. Like I said, this thing has just been all over. I've been seeing nonstop. Haven't heard it though. Don't know what it's about. I got no information. But check the link in the description and the comment for the video. I'll post there where you can buy it too if you want to support this guy. But I'm going to make another video later on that's talking about this reactor revolution we got going on, where you got people like this that just come out of nowhere, and then if they get into the right circles here, people just push the content so much. I mean, it happened with Tom, happened with Oliver Anthony, happened with the Sound of Freedom movie. It's happening on a recurring basis because this like parallel economy of information is growing and expanding rapidly. So I think it's really cool. It's very neat. We can get around this chokehold of information flow and then push the stuff that deserves to be pushed and ignore the shit that no one cares about, like UFOs. They're like, hey, there's aliens. And we're like, we don't care. Let's look at those taxes from Hunter Biden. That's what we want to look at. I got a couple other things after this too, so I'm pretty excited. This turned out pretty cool. All right. Let's check that. Dude, this is up to 1.9 million views in one day. Holy crap. Almost 2 million views. Posted a day ago. This guy's a monster.
Well, if it weren't for my old dogs and the good Lord, they'd have me strung up in the psych ward. 'Cause every day living in this new world is one too many days to me. Son, we're on the brink.
Okay, so we got the soul. We got this this guitar, I've heard it's not an acoustic banjo. So whoever came in to the chat and said that, I don't know if you were pranking me or if you actually didn't know, but it is not. So that was a big deal in the last video. But I like it's another simple scene. He's got him with his guitar, the microphone, and he's outside. You got nature. It is just, really nice and simple. Nothing crazy.
Many days to me, son, we're on the brink of the next world war, and I don't think nobody's praying no more, and I ain't saying I know it for sure. I'm just down on my knees, begging the Lord to take me home.
Dang, okay. That's just sad, man. I love that it zooms out and he's got the dogs down there. He's got the other truck, the farm truck, the work truck, you know what I mean? And he's wearing clothes. He's wearing just like plain, jeans and like one of those heavy shirts. It's so rustic and raw. So I appreciate that. And he's just like, dude, we're on the brink of World War III. Like, that's where we're at right now. This freaking world is gone crazy, and he is not wrong. Dobro from Janny. Yeah, the Dobro. Resonate guitar. Steel guitar. See, I got people saying different things in here again. It's all over the place. And someone says, Dana says, there were a lot of great remixes made by rappers off Rich Men's song, Marine Rapper, Black Pegasus, and more inspired to write. Yeah, I did a video on Webby's remix, North of Richmond, and that was a really cool remix. He did a great job. I haven't seen any of the other ones, but if you know specific other ones you want me to check, just comment them in the video below.
Begging the Lord to take me home. I wanna go home. I don't know which road to go. It's been so long. I just know I didn't used to wake up feeling this way, cussing myself every damn day. There's always some kind of bill to pay. People just doing what the rich man say. I wanna go home.
Okay, so he's saying, I didn't used to feel this way. Waking up. There's always bills to pay. Doing what the rich men are saying. And he's like, I just want to go home. But he's talking to God and saying how he just wants to come home. Like, go back. You know what I mean? So it's really sad. Like, this is straight up massive depression. And you could see the pain in his face, hear it in the voice. So it's just sad, man, that we're at that point where people are just waking up. And that happened start of the pandemic. I mean, for some people, it's been that way for a long time. But in 2020, things just broke, and it broke a lot of people. And so I totally get what you're saying. Just waking up, the bills piling up, freaking out, not knowing what to do, and you're just over it. So there's so many people in this position that it's massively relatable. Massive.
This man say, I wanna go home. Now 4 generations farming the ground. Grandson sells it to a man out of town. And 2 weeks later, the trees go down. Only got concrete growing around. I wanna go home.
Dude, there's so much freaking development happening in my area. It's awful. I mean, there's places that were like horse fields and pecan farms, and now it's just like dirt lots with all the construction equipment and like the pipes for sewage just like lined up, and then these shitty, ugly box cookie cutter houses that they're building in a week and a half, and they're everywhere. Like every patch of green is being replaced by these ugly houses and these tiny subdivisions where the houses are almost touching each other, and it's horrible. Essentially saying 4 generations running the farm, and then somebody comes in, and then all that's left is concrete. Like I feel that, dude. Like where I live now, 10 years ago, I thought I lived like kind of in the country, because you drove by the pecan farms and the horse farms and another horse farm, and then you turn in, and I live like on the lake. So it's like on one side's the lake, on the other side's horse farms. Pretty badass. Like I liked that. But now it's like the city's expanding outward towards us, and like we can't escape it, and it's just so busy. And like he said, it's all concrete and ugly shit to replace what was just like this beautiful natural environment. So I know different people feel different about that, but I really got that. I felt that.
Hound, I wanna go home. I wanna go home. I don't know which road to go. It's been so long. I just know I didn't used to wake up feeling this way, cussing myself every damn day. People have really gone and lost their way. They all just do what the TV say. I wanna go home.
So they just do what the TV says. What's back? The damn lockdowns are back. You got these idiots going into doing what didn't work the first time or the second time or the third time, and saying, oh, we better do it. We got some expert with a bulged back pocket full of cash telling your ass you need to do X, Y, and Z, or you're part of the problem. Can't be part of the problem. You got to be part of the solution, even if the solution's stupid. So, yeah, he's like, people just doing what the TV says. That's a giant part of the problem that we have in the world. And, yeah, this country, but the world, is the damn idiot box in the middle of the living room telling people exactly what to do, and they listen to it. It's honestly sad. It's like freaking obnoxiously sad.
Do what the TV say. I wanna go home. If it weren't for my old dogs and the good Lord, they'd have me strung up in the psych ward.
Said if it wasn't for my old dogs and the Lord, I'd be strung up in the psych ward. Well, that's cool that he's got his points of power, his anchors, his rocks, the things that ground him. And, for some people, it's different things. I like to think, for me, it's my family and what I get to do here with you guys. So I did go crazy. Like, I totally went crazy, and then started to create this kind of artistic outlet to regain sanity. And so I feel like he's really expressing that in all of the work that he's doing, and then being able to just put this message out. It says, for what shall it profit a man if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Love that he puts this quote here at the very end, after turning down like $8 million in a record deal when they saw his talent. The big guy saw his talent, because he knows he would literally have to sell his soul and do what they say and bury his real, truthful work in order to take that money. So he absolutely lived up to the values that he was claiming. So good on you, dude. Absolutely good on you. And yeah, I see things saying, are people saying this is racist and what? There's the typical attacks that come from the mainstream, from the left and whatever. So, I don't know, man. There was absolutely nothing wrong with that song at all. Once again, if anyone had a problem with that, they're just clueless. I mean, I don't know, man. He's just venting. It's very relatable venting. But I got something special for you guys that I watched, or well, I didn't watch, but I saved it for this. So I got this. Some of you have put me on to Awaken with JP. So he pops in my feed now and then. And so he has this video, and it is corrupt politician responds to viral song. So I'm going to react to the corrupt politician reaction. We're going to have a little reaction-ception here. And I believe it's the original, North of North Richmond, or Richmond of North. People keep changing the name in the remixes and stuff, so it's messing me up. But it's a corrupt politician responding to rich men north of Richmond. That's funny. So it's going to be like a skit reaction, and then I'll react to that. So I think it's going to be funny. Very funny. Okay, let's do it. Let's see what they got. Corrupt politician responds to viral song.
Richmond, north of Richmond, Lord knows they all just wanna have total control.
Hi, I'm one of the rich men north of Richmond, people in DC. Ever hear of us? The new song Rich Men North of Richmond by Oliver Anthony is spreading a lot of misinformation about us very wealthy yet very caring individuals who happen to live north of Richmond. It's the #1 song in the country and we don't like it. I mean, we're just out here selflessly trying to serve the public's best interest. But the song tries to paint us in a negative light, saying,
Dude, this is great. The fact that he could even maintain like a straight face during these kind of things is top notch. That's top tier. Good for you, JP. He's like, we're the benevolent rulers. I mean, we're serving people and not doing anything sussy at all. It's like, okay, bud. From the rich men north of Richmond. I'm them, but we're actually cool. This is misinformation.
public's best interest. But the song tries to paint us in a negative light, saying things like,
I've been selling my soul, working all day, overtime hours for bullshit pay.
yeah, bullshit pay that helps people. It's in your best interest. How else are you going to own nothing and be happy?
Oh, he
If you're
didn't.
paid well, you can't just own nothing. And getting paid well so you can own things, like, that's not going to make you happy.
Living in the new world with an whole soul.
Yeah, the new world is part of the Great Reset. It helps people out. And living in the new world with an old soul, we have done our absolute best to disconnect people from God and their souls.
Dude, no, you're not, dude. We're trying to disconnect people from their souls.
Hashtag communism will work this time. So even believing you have a soul is a thought crime, according to us. It's the #1 threat to our democracy.
If your dollar ain't shit and it's taxed to no end, cause the rich men.
Inflation just kind of accidentally happens when you print trillions of dollars. And we think taxes are too low. Did you know that last year some people took home some of their income? Selfish. When all of that income could be going to Ukraine, which is then fed back to the military-industrial complex, which is then fed back to us, the rich men north of Richmond.
Wish politicians
Oh, man.
look out for minors, and not just minors on an island somewhere.
Look out for minors, and not just on an island somewhere. That is very offensive to all of us who are on Epstein's flight logs. It's practically hate speech. And the insinuation that child trafficking is a problem, that's just a crazy conspiracy theory. That's why we so desperately tried to silence and smear Senator
Yes!
Clinton. I mean, if it wasn't such an outlandish theory, then our actions would have us protecting those who traffic minors. And we wouldn't do what we're doing.
Dude, that's the perfect satire. I'm sorry, that is perfect satire. JP crushed it, dude. Are you serious? He's like, he brought in Sound of Freedom, hashtag it's earned like, what, 10 times its money back? It went from like 14 million to 150 last I saw. It could be a lot higher even by now. But I mean, beating all kinds of very well-funded projects. Let's just say that. But he's just like, yeah, it's practically hate speech to the people on Epstein's client list. That's funny. That's good.
Of us protecting those who traffic minors. And we wouldn't do what we're doing.
Lord, we got folks in the street, ain't got nothing to eat, and the obese milking welfare. Well, God, if you're 5'3" and you're 300 pounds, taxes ought not to pay for your bags of fudge round.
Oliver Anthony is obviously against body positivity and socialism.
Young men are putting themselves 6 feet in the ground, 'cause all this damn country does is keep on kicking them down.
Suicide issue? You mean reducing the carbon footprint by reducing the population? You can trust that those of us who say we always want less people in the world are always looking out for your best interest, and we want you to have a long, healthy life. We literally want less people in the world, which means death is the only way to bring about that result. So of course we care about your life, because we want more death.
These rich men north of Richmond, Lord knows they all just wanna have total control. Wanna know what you think, wanna know what you do.
We don't want total control and want to know what you think and do.
I like the ominous background
Our
music.
efforts to work with social media companies where we tell them what to censor so we can manipulate what you think, along with a constant stream of state-sponsored propaganda, is all because we don't care what you think. In our surveillance state, which will get a lot more surveillance-y once we implement digital currencies, where we monitor your every action and your financial transactions, is because we don't care what you do. We use the Patriot Act to monitor you because we don't care what you do. Nothing in this song is true.
Rich men north of Richmond, Lord knows they all just wanna have total control. Wanna know what you think, wanna know what you do, and they don't think you know, but I know that you do.
I don't think people know. You don't think people really know, do you? Do you want to be an unhealthy piece of garbage your entire life? Well, me either. That's why I love Bon Charge, a holistic wellness company that offers a wide
like
range
blinding.
of products to help you up-level your life in every way. And the red light therapy devices are amongst my favorites. Why is that? Because I'm getting old and I injure myself all the time. I always have sore muscles or I hurt myself working out. Most recently, I threw my back out playing pickleball. It hurt. Because red light therapy helps
That
with
happens.
sore muscles, accelerates healing recovery, accelerates recovery from exercise, helps with wrinkles, anti-aging effects on the skin. It helps with sleep and relaxation, and a lot more. So it used to be when I would injure myself or I have sore muscles, I'd just sit around waiting, not doing anything about it, helpless, not really knowing what to do about it. So now I just increase my time in front of the red light therapy device. This is the Super Hive Max.
Has anyone
which
ever
I
tried
love.
that?
And I
Red
find with
light
my
therapy?
challenges like my back, my sore muscles, the red light therapy helps me recover faster and get back in action real quick. And also I'm getting old. I'm 42 and my face looks like it. That's why I've been using the Bon Charge red light face mask. I've been doing 10-minute sessions for the anti-aging effects.
Wow.
And plus, when you have this on, nobody's gonna break into your house to rob you. You look a little too intimidating. I'm someone that likes to take control over my health and well-being, doing everything I can, and red light therapy has earned its place in my life as a staple in my health program. If you'd like to check out Bon Charge's amazing selection of red light therapy devices or other health and wellness products, just go to boncharge.com/JP. And while you're there, be sure to use the discount code JP to get 15% off. Happy health to you, my friend.
Oh, man.
Richmond North.
Well, definitely cutting out the red light therapy ad. And I'm probably going to remove his background music because I can. But anyway, that was very funny, very interesting. And that sounds about like what your typical globalist WEF type dude would say about that song, and has been. And if you look through the headlines, that's basically, they're like, oh, they're leaning into right-wing propaganda, conspiracy theories. It's like, bro, he was saying there's people starving, and then there's people that are milking the system. So there's like this massive imbalance of those who need help, meaning he would be pro-help for the right situation. And then, you know, people who are abusing, 5'3", 300 pounds, buying fudge rounds. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, JP killed it. That was super funny. I like JP. He's always been cool. All right, I'm looking. Where's my playlist at? Playlist. There we go. Library. View playlist. Okay, here we go. Okay, so we got let's finish it out with a John Rich song. It's called I'm Offended. I imagine it's funny. 282,000 views in 6 days. Okay. Not bad.
Warning, some people may find the following video.
Oop. But I think that'd be funny. So let's check it out. Yeah, Buzzacino, we actually just did that one. I Want to Go Home before that. So I'll have to drop that out. Dan, you said just found you. You got 5 different streams and had to search for your channel specifically. Oh, dang. Okay. Well, we just watched through the Tucker Trump interview. Then we watched the new Oliver Anthony song that Buzzacino was asking about. Then we watched JP Freedom do a skit, which was pretty awesome. Thanks, Dan. Appreciate that. And then now I'm going to check out John Rich, I'm Offended, if everyone's cool with that. I didn't ask. I haven't heard it, unless there's something you guys specifically want to hear instead. Stephanie's down. Well, that's good enough. All right. Glenn says it's a good song. Okay. All right. We're going for it. All right. So it's been bought. It is downloading. I'll have it linked in the description and in the comment if you want to buy it. Support Mr. Rich here. But let's see who's offended exactly. I'm curious. I can imagine, but I'm curious.
Warning, some people may find the following video to be offensive. Viewer discretion advised.
Redneck Riviera, that's his bar. I do know that.
It seems like these days, no matter what you say, someone's losing their ever-loving mind. It's like they're looking for a reason to have their fragile feelings hurt every single time. My country truck.
Oh, dang. He had to pull his mask down to the sissy beer in a, you know, a tall, slender can. That's rude, man. But I like it already.
I gas it up. You got your fancy Tesla hooked up to a plug. I know you're mad. You think I'm bad. 'Cause I'm breathing free at last and you're still stuck behind your mask.
Now, it said preamble. Is that like a beer that other people know about? I'm not hoity-toity enough to know what that is. I'm aware of the preamble. But I like that they're just sitting here in front of this little like scamper camper, chilling. I don't get the Italy thing yet. So we'll have to see what Mr. Accordion's got going on over there. But so far it's funny. It's definitely funny.
'Cause I'm breathing free at last and you're still stuck behind your mask and I'm offended. You're offended. Let's all get offended tonight. I'll order us a beer. We can sit down right here and scream and yell and cuss and fuss and fight.
You guys gotta warn me. Okay. I don't do well. I think Keegan even knows what it is just from the laugh. Dan, thank you. Yes, I did see the dodo for Pew Pew the other night. I'm so proud of him for running that stream. Like, he's got like kind of a lot of apprehension because he had like a bad experience running a stream a long time ago. So I've been like co-streaming with him, but he ran his own stream and he did a great job. So, but I appreciate all the support for him. Oh, I just had to change the subject because. And I got to go back, too. We got to go back. We got to get through it together, guys. Be mature about this, okay? Be mature. I am so going to hell still. Like, I got to figure that. I got to get better. All right. Okay. Okay. I'm tall, guys. Like, it's always a thing. Let's go.
I'll get offended tonight. I'll order us a beer. We can sit down right here and scream and yell and cuss and fuss and fight. Now hang on just a minute. You can't amend the First Amendment. You're offended. I defend it all the time.
I love the ascot and the pink beanie. Like he even had the beta shirt for the other guy. like they're really playing it up. I like it.
So let's take another sip. Don't hold back and let her rip. 'Cause in the end you'll be left and I'll be right. And I'm offended. You're offended. Let's all get offended tonight. I'll order us a beer. We can sit down right here and scream and yell and cuss and fuss and fight.
Wow, he's got the Patriot Mobile hat. I like how they're setting them up with all of these little, the differences. So they got like the super like beta dude drinking the chick beer, and then they got like the based lady who hooks him up with a better beer, and then they switch over to you know, the two guys, and one throws the beer, the other smashes him with a beer, and then the arm wrestling. You got Mr. T over there with the damn Patriot Mobile hat, crushes the woke guy. So, and then there was the thing behind the bar, but we can just move right past that. And then let's see what the deal is here. We got Mr. Dude with the Bible, and then the reservation cigar dude. Let's see how offended they can make this.
Screaming, yelling, cussing, fussing, oh yeah! Yeah, I like to shoot my 22. Somehow it seems to always trigger you. I pray to God, you think that's odd, 'cause you see.
Okay, I like how he's endorsing the parallel economy, literally. I mean, he's got, like, we switched the bitch beer for Preamble, which I'm assuming is some conservative beer, okay? And then you got the one dude, excuse me. Then you got the one dude with the Patriot Mobile hat, and then you got him with, like, woke whatever bank, and then they switched to, like, the conservative bank. So, like, they're literally just plugging all of the conservative parallel economy things in the video and just showing them as, like, the superior thing. So it's very biased. It's very, like, in your face. The right is better than the left. The conservative thing is cooler than the other. But it's funny. It's a satire, and I like it so far. It's charming.
I pray to God, you think that's odd, 'cause you say he don't exist, so why are you so pissed? I'm offended. You're offended.
He's like, I pray to God, and you don't think he exists, so why are you so pissed? Like, if you don't believe, then why does it matter to you? Like, what? Just do your thing. Just do your thing. I've seen these things where, like, somebody has some little idol from, like, a Hindu religion or just a foreign religion, and then all these woke lefty people are like, oh no, in order to honor that deity, you need to, like, do this and face it this direction and, like, respect that thing. Even though they don't believe in it, they're just being respectful to the religion of a foreigner, right? But then they use the same rules and talk about Jesus. Oh man, all that's gone. All that just respect and niceness and reverence for, like, somebody else's belief system, gone. And they just, like, absolute act like shitbags to the person who's the Christian. And I was just like, oh yeah. So it's funny that he goes that way, saying, like, dude, I believe what I believe. You don't. Why are you pissed about what I believe? The hell does it matter to you? I'm offended. So it's funny.
I'm offended. You're offended. Let's all get offended tonight. I'll order us a beer. We can sit down right here and scream and yell and cuss and fuss and fight. I'll order us a beer. We can sit down right here.
No.
And scream and yell.
I know. You don't have to focus. You don't have to bring him into focus. You got Mike Lindell with the My Pillows and a referee. He's wearing a referee uniform with pillows. And there's a cat fight. And he's about to bring him pillows to pillow fight. Dude, that's so funny. And it's at his bar. Like, the whole thing's at his bar. So it's like a rowdy, thing. He's like, well, sit here and cheers and drink a beer and fight. You know what I mean? So it's funny. It's so funny. But he's basically saying that the whole damn thing is juvenile. And so we're going to work through it in a juvenile way, in like a little bar scrap. So it's funny. But Mike Lindell busting out like the Undertaker coming on the WWE stage was pretty funny. Like, we're backing up to see that again.
I'll order us a beer. We can sit down right here. screaming, yelling, cussing, fussing, fight. 'Cause I'm offended, you're offended. Let's all get offended tonight. I'll order us a beer. We can sit down right here and scream and yell and cuss and fuss and fight. I'll order us a beer. We can sit down right here and scream and yell and cuss and fuss and fight.
Special thank you to My Pillow, Armed Forces Brewing. God, I'm just saying it over again. Pretend you didn't hear any of that. A special thank you to My Pillow, Armed Forces Brewing, Patriot Mobile, and Old Glory Bank. God bless America. Did I not say it? It's quite literally plugging all of the parallel economy that's been built up to counter the cancel culture. So he made a whole song dedicated to plugging his friends who are running these businesses, because he left like the CMT mainstream label area of music because he saw it went woke. He wanted to say what he wanted to say, so he branched out. Very cool that he's kind of using his own successful roadmap and then trying to help out these other people who are doing a similar thing. So I love it. I trust me, I love it more than you know, because like I've been here and I don't know if anyone knows this, but we're kind of in like a economic collapse that's going on right now. Like I need a new house, but like there's no houses for sale because interest rates are so damn high. No one wants to sell their house. So like I don't even have an option of where to go. And I would forfeit a really good interest rate on my house, a really good mortgage on the house I bought, 10 years ago, 11 years ago. And then I'm trying to get a job and I've applied to like 200 places. And let's just say what I do on the internet isn't helping me. And then like there's just, like a hiring freeze or whatever. So it's just been a crazy, horrible thing between both situations. So I really appreciate people like John Rich and all these others in the like parallel economy that are creating something for people who are active in the movement to cling on to and to help, just to benefit. So it's really nice. It's really cool. Gives me hope. There's a damn chance to like come out of this stronger for everybody. And the whole like being offended thing is so overrated. Like who cares if you're offended? It was funny. Now, there's things that are not tasteful. I agree. Like I had my moment where I laughed maybe harder than I should have laughed. Maybe at a time I shouldn't have laughed. Maybe someone got offended. Maybe someone will get offended when I edit and post this. But you get what I'm saying. Like, come on. We got to have people chill out with this. Dan, down payment. Yeah, dude, you're the man. That's funny. You said... You think it's Old Glory Bank? Yeah, I saw that. It said Old Glory Bank, Patriot Mobile, Armed Forces Brewing, which that would be that preamble beer that I saw. So that's, ode to the Constitution. So that's what's up. We need a new beer company called Red Pill Beer. Yeah, that's awesome. That'd be cool. I'd be like, do you have a RPB? And they're like, you mean PBR? No, I don't. Something like that. Scott, awesome. Thank you for making my night a lot more fun. Wish I could see more live episodes. You're awesome live. We're all human. Hey, yeah, appreciate that. That's really cool. And yeah, I feel like I owe Trump because he didn't do anything crazy, like it was entertaining. It was great information, but it was YouTube safe as hell. Like I don't see any problem with any of that. So, that's kind of, I'm not saying we need to toe the line of YouTube. I'm saying we need to say the truth, but we can answer, like when he was tiptoeing with certain questions, it's like he answered them in the way that he probably should have answered them instead of answering them in the way he maybe wanted to answer them. And some of that is probably learned experience from the last like 5 or 6 years. So I think he did a lot of good in his chat. And the biggest thing is it's just exposing how much spotlight he steals from the rest of the GOP. Because I don't feel at all sad that I missed the debates. Don't care. Like, I'm sure there'll be little clips around and there'll be something that I see and appreciate, but I didn't care to see that over Trump, and that's why I played it here on the channel. It was like, not that many people had it. A few people had it, but there weren't that many live streams running it. So we had to see what was going on. Dan, you said glad I saw your stream, was scrolling and caught it, not sure what the issue is, no notifications recently. I don't know, man. It is weird. It is weird. I'll tell you what's weird. I put 2 shorts up today. And one of them got 72 views. 72. So I have over 16,000 subscribers. Got 72 views on a short. I don't know how their algorithm works, but it is broken. Totally broken. So, but I have been growing faster in the long form, so I kind of feel like just ditching short form altogether. Like, I don't know if it's worth the time. Like, even if something blows up with like a couple thousand views, like, you don't get anything for the shorts. The people that subscribe through shorts do not then watch 30-minute videos. It's almost universally not the case. So it's like not even a base of people that would really matter to the channel. Like, you guys that come to the live streams, the people that come to premieres, the people that watch videos, like, that's the people that I'm trying to make this channel for. I'm not trying to make it for the people who like one line of something I say in a short, hit subscribe, and then never look at my stuff again. Like, that's not really what this channel's for. Because there's a lot that goes into this. So I want to make it for the people that want it, not get the biggest numbers the fastest I possibly can. Like, that's cheap to me. I don't like it. That's not what I'm trying to do. Shorts are an appetizer when you hunger for YouTube. That's funny and not really incorrect. Dagnar says pushing you into the shadows. Yeah, there you go. Maybe a little bit. But that's okay. I mean, I guess I'll make some, and I'll try to make some just like funny ones. But I don't know. It just feels like frustrating that some of them really don't get the love that they should from the YouTube gods. Dan says, I've been watching for you actually specifically because I've only seen older uploads. Like I said, it was just a happenstance tonight. That's so weird. I mean, I've been posting. Not gonna lie. Like, it's been high level posting for quite some time. I've had just going to the channel here. Yeah, I have 447 videos posted to this channel. And that has been an astronomical jump in recent time. Like, the list is stacked now. And I posted one earlier today, so I had 2 shorts, and then the Go Woke Go Broke video, which I thought was good, and it's short. And because it's short, I made another video, and that's dropping first thing in the morning. And then I'm probably going to work on editing these videos, and I got to do some work outside. Keegan's garden did really good this year. And so now we're like cleaning it up, and then it's just going to be like peppers only until the frost. But also we got the baby chickens are starting to lay eggs. Oh, snap. It is so cool. So like the chickens we got this spring, the little chicks, now like a few of them have just started laying eggs. And I made egg boxes, a tree house. I made them a tree house coop and then tree house egg boxes. So there's 3 egg boxes in like its own little mini tree house. It's kind of awesome. I like it. But they figured it out. So now we got like the little baby chicks, which are, 75% size at this point, starting to lay eggs. So about to be where I don't have to buy any eggs anymore, probably for quite a long time. And that's really exciting because it takes a while to get a payoff for chickens. But once they start paying off, it's great. And, you know, I got to get hashtag shredded for twins, and eggs is like the number one thing you can eat if you don't want to be a fat ass. So I think we'll finish with that. I think that's the end. Rob says, awesome. I love eggs. Eat a couple almost every morning. That's the way to go. These people were saying eggs were bad for you. They lied. Eggs are great for you. Keep it going. Dan says, hold nothing against you. Pretty sure it's not you. Got a few bucks thrown at me recently. Sharing the love. Love your channel, man. Hey, I really appreciate that. I 1000% appreciate that. Christy says, I try to like and comment all your stuff to kick the algorithm. The notifications blow. Yeah, I don't get it. All I can say is turn them on, and then I guess it gives you preferential like priority. At the end of the day, I just have to have good videos. I want to think of it that way. If I just make good videos, more of them will get seen. But it is frustrating sometimes because I feel like they send it to a small sample of my people. And if that small sample isn't jumping all over it, they just kind of knock the video and then it just like gets dropped into oblivion. And I'm telling you, some of the very, very best videos I've ever made have very few views. Like if you dig through the catalog at the small videos, you might find a gem and you're just like, damn, this is a good video. I'm like, yeah, well, that's not how YouTube treats them all. So, and some of them I'm like, I mean, that was okay, but it didn't deserve all that. You know, that happens too. So, you know, it is what it is. But I'm excited. We're going into good times. But I feel like I'm going to try to find the balance between like doing a little hanging out and gaming with you, listening to some music, doing some reactions, having some like political commentary stuff, doing like this stream of the Trump speech or interview with Tucker, because the Twitter X thing, it's like, that's anyone's ball game. Like you can get that information. You can watch that. You can stream that. They're not telling you can't. So it's just a matter of, is YouTube butthurt about the content? And like, we don't know till afterwards. So that's like the Russian roulette we basically have to play here together. But today felt fine. I didn't hear anything really bad in there that breaks any of the rules. So, all right. Thanks a lot, guys. I'm rolling. It was good. And I'm trying to hook up with Armando for something this weekend. So look out for that. I'll post probably on X and maybe on YouTube here if we can set up some kind of a stream situation. That'd be good. All right.